Hi there, Sheryl here. I wanted to pop in and say hello and share some thoughts and strategies for this summer reset series right before I head out to New York City on a red eye and then on a Newport, Rhode Island to see my son Dan, who is a head tennis pro at the Tennis Hall of Fame in Newport, Rhode Island. But before I take off, a couple things. Summer is a great time to have a reset. And you can read about a couple of the strategies in the written blog, but a couple of things I really wanted to hit home in the video. First has to do with boundaries. And boundaries can shift depending on where we are, if you're at home or if you're, let's say, on a vacation. But thinking through what are important boundaries for you to have and also intentionality. So let's talk specifically about boundaries when you are on a vacation. So when I'm on the East Coast, it's not necessarily a completely unplug vacation, which I do have those once a quarter for 4 days. But this is the intentionality behind this is I am working around my son and my daughter-in-law's schedule. So I'm very specific that I'm going to work probably 2 hours a day and just find out what their schedule is and make sure that I can get my work done so I'm available when they're available to maximize our time together. That's really about intentionality. Because if I didn't do that, and if I didn't have that intentionality, I also been preparing for this trip for the last 3 weeks to kind of get ducks in a row. So just thinking through what are the boundaries that you need to set. So my boundaries are 2 hours, and the focus and the intentionality is spending time with my family, with my son and my daughter-in-law while I'm there. Now, this could also be daily boundaries and intentionality. It could be, when you wake up and your self-care in the morning and your movement or what have you. So, summer's a great time for a tune-up. So, whether you're like me, you're part of that 5 a.m. club that has kind of this summer turned into the 6 a.m. club, but whether you have a solid morning routine, we can all use a tune up. So just thinking about how to be more intentional and what tune up do you need to have, and also maybe what boundary do you need to set so you can have that tune up. So for me, we've been, I usually don't watch TV during the week, but we've kind of gotten sucked into Grey's Anatomy, for example. And so for me, the boundary is that if we can watch an episode and it's done by 8 p.m., then we can do it because I want enough time to wind down and to read and do those other things. But if it doesn't get started by a certain time, then we don't do it. So that's just like a boundary that I have set for myself, and it's just an intentionality about my evening. So whether it's about your evening, your morning, or intentionality around a trip, then just thinking through a boundary and also your intentionality. And then the third thing I wanted to talk to you about is accountability. Now, one thing that my business mentor used to always tell me is that common knowledge is not always common practice. And so we can have the most pure and amazing intentions, but we are human. We are wired for the path of least resistance. So even if we are strivers and we are amazing in so many different areas of our life, a lot of times when we're trying to cultivate new habits or to make some shifts or changes, until they're really like integrated into our lives, then it's going to take some accountability. So one type of accountability is social accountability. So I might say to my husband, hey, if we're going to watch Grey's Anatomy, it's got to start by 8 p.m. So I am verbalizing it to him. Also, I'm kind of weaning myself off sugar, for example. So I might say to him, hey, I'm not eating sugar and I'm not eating after 7 p.m. He's so nice, though, that I'm not sure if he's the best accountability partner because he is just so caring and compassionate. But find someone that you can be accountable to. Social accountability. So if you're going on a trip, verbalize your intentions after you set them. And whether it's a morning routine, a trip, an evening routine, so something that is special or something that is more daily, be sure to think it through and set up an accountability structure. Another example is that an amazing client of mine, so she wanted to get her SSI rating up, which is her social selling index on LinkedIn. And so she found out that she had to do more video, and she didn't really want to do more video. She hasn't put herself out there before that much online. So she had an amazing colleague of hers in a different industry that they would meet daily, and this person would make sure that she did it. And she did do it. So that accountability, whether it's creating your personal brand or having more movement or doing anything, that accountability piece is vital until you integrate that habit and it's really part of you. For example, I exercise 5 days a week. So that is integrated into part of my life. I will do it. I will exercise 5 days a week. It's not discipline, it's just part of my life. But it wasn't always that way. When I first got started, I needed to have an accountability. I would call someone, tell them like when I'm getting on the bike, or you pay a trainer, or something like that. So whether it's for your setting your boundaries for your wellness or for your work, it's vital in the beginning to have an accountability structure in place. So a lot of these things are in my course, the Fearless Female Leadership Journey. And so if you're interested in that, or you think that this content might help your team, please be sure to reach out. But if you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me directly at Sheryl@SherylKline.com. I've been speaking on these things a lot to many different companies, getting ready for the remainder of the year. So I am cheering you on. I am here to help any way that I can. And I hope you have an amazing summer reset.